guys, my name is Elif and I'm a legal engineer, developer or educator working at the intersection of software and the law. I am gonna talk about something important and I am starting a really long series with you guys. And this video series is not just about teaching you how to write HTML, CSS or JavaScript, and it's about teaching you how to understand the legal risks, potential legal risks hidden in the code, the kind of things that can lead to privacy violations or accessibility lawsuits or copyright claims. And if you don't know what to look for, I'm here to help you guys, because when you look at a website, you shouldn't just see the design and functionality, right? You should also see whether it has a proper cookie policy, if it gets user consent correctly under GDPR or CCPA, right? Whether it respects WCAG accessibility standards, which we will be talking about in the future, and if its images, fonts or scripts are used legally and safely, right? In this series, I'm going to teach how to build clean, professional websites and how to spot the hidden compliance issues that even experienced developers often miss. Together, we will do so many great things. Learn HTML and CSS from the ground up. And also we will be creating so many interactive forms using JavaScript and analyze the real-world code through the lens of GDPR, KVKK, CCPA, and WCAG 2.1 and more. And ADA, by the way. And we will be doing so many practice like spotting dark patterns, risky scripts, and licensing issues as well, because we have an intellectual property issue that we will be seeing in the future. And also, we will be building your confidence as both a coder and compliance-aware creator. Because this is a new world, you need to understand the intersection of software and law, especially if you're a lawyer, tech lawyer, or if you're working in this area, technology law, IT law, law of technology lawyer, I don't know. So whether you're a developer or designer or lawyer or pilot or someone who's just curious, this journey is definitely for you and I am so excited to be there for you. Let's build the web responsibly. Welcome to my series. I have a couple of questions before we get started. When you visit a website, what's the first thing you usually see and notice? Think about this. Maybe the logo. People generally tend to see the logo as a first impression. Maybe a hero image, maybe some animation there, I don't know. But today, we're not looking at the website as regular users. We are looking through the lens of a legal engineer. I have a lens here, by the way. Before we even write a single line of HTML or CSS, I am asking, is this site legally sound? Is it user-centric? Is it compliant with the regulations that protect our data and our rights and your rights? This is why let's break it down, and you need to know the 5 things that every website must have from a legal perspective. I need to explain every details first because you need to understand what we are looking for. What is the first thing, the first impression that we need to have, right? First thing first. Cookie policy. Everyone knows this, right? Like cookies are everywhere and cookies store data in your browser. They power everything from remembering your preferences to tracking your every move. This is the first thing.
First things first.
Cookie policy. What to look for? A cookie banner or notification that appears on your first visit, actually. You need to see something, maybe below, maybe, I don't know, next on the left side, on the right side. And cookies are strictly necessary, which are for analytics and which are for marketing tools. Exactly. It is also important under GDPR and under e-privacy directive and California Consumer Privacy Act, which means CCPA, and other global laws at the same time. This is why you cannot place non-essential cookies on a user's device without their explicit informed consent. Do you agree with me? I think so. Thank you. Okay, Bura is also agreeing with me. And I'm gonna give you a tip about that actually. A working cookie consent tool that blocks non-essential cookies until approved, it is not optional. That's required. You need to know this. That's the first legal tip. The second thing that you need to look for is the terms of use. Maybe you can see it, terms and conditions actually. And this is your website's contract with the user. You are providing a website, which means it is your product, right? And you need to have a contract because you will have so many users from Singapore, Thailand, Bangkok, Ankara, Turkey, Antalya, or London. It sets the rules of engagement and outlines responsibilities, both yours and theirs. This is why you need to check actually something. What to check for, you will ask. I know. First of all, a visible link in the footer. Definitely, it should be clear, readable language, and also you should avoid legalese because it should be definitely clear. Everyone need to understand it, not just for the lawyers or for the regulators or policy makers, right? So many people will be visiting your website. And there's a couple of key sections like description of services or intellectual property disclaimers or limitations of liability or dispute resolution and governing law. If you have any problem with someone who is complaining about yourself, you need to have a dispute resolution, right? You need to give them the information. It is important because if anything goes wrong, as I mentioned, a dispute, a chargeback, a copyright claim, that kind of things, this document becomes your legal lifeline. This is why make sure you have everything correctly and safely. The third thing that you need to look for on the website is that privacy policy, and this one's non-negotiable. This is the most important thing on your website because anytime you collect user data, because maybe it is just an education website, maybe it is a government website, it doesn't matter. You are collecting user data, right? Names, emails, IP addresses, their behavior, their interaction and engagement on your website. You need to explain a couple of things. For example, what data is collected, why it is collected, where and how it is stored. Did you use any cryptography? Did you use any algorithm to store them? Which hash function you used, for example? Maybe you didn't use. We don't know yet. Who it is shared with? Did you share the information with someone else? Maybe the third parties. Maybe they are tracking all data and you are selling their data. That's so bad. Okay, and maybe how users can access, delete, or correct their data on your website, right? You need to have privacy policy, and it is also required by GDPR in European Union, CCPA and CPRA in California, and in Canada we have PIPADA, in Singapore we have PDPA, and in Turkey we have KVKK, which is really similar to European Union's GDPR regulation. And failure to provide this transparency can lead to fines, lawsuits, and reputational damage. To be honest, that's not cool. And you are damaging your own marketing strategies, your advertisement, and your own branding. This is why, just to make sure, you have to have a cool and explanatory guide, privacy policy on your website. And the fourth thing that you need to see and you need to have on your website as well, contact and transparency, which means an anonymous website isn't just suspicious, by the way, it is potentially illegal though, because we think internet is for everyone. Yeah, definitely correct, but also you should have your business name, your official email address, because we need to reach out to you, right? Maybe physical address, for especially if you're a registered businesses, we need to see your physical address, right? And a contact form or other support mechanism. You should have all details because regulations like the European Union e-commerce directive or GDPR and national e-commerce laws all require clear identification and communication channels. You should be clear on your website who I am talking with, what you have been doing on this website. Are you selling something? Is this your product or is this just an educational website? Whatever. And the fifth thing that you are looking for on the website is consent and opt-in logic. What is that, Elif? What do you mean? Whether you're collecting emails, running analytics, or offering a free download, you need to get consent the right way, right? They need to accept and they need to know what they're accepting, which means pre-checked boxes, done. This is illegal under GDPR. Vacuum language like by continuing, you agree, don't. Not enough. You should have something like clear option with meaningful choice. They need to see the content itself, freely given, specific, informed, especially unambiguous, aka the GDPR gold standard, by the way. You have to have this and we will be talking about in the future. And this is why when you look at a website, especially I want to call this and I want to make it a title, how a legal engineer looks at a website, because this is what we will be doing together. Before we get to the code side, before the HTML, CSS, JavaScript tags even begins, a real legal engineer should ask a couple of questions as I mentioned before. Is the cookie behavior compliant? Are privacy terms accessible and understandable? Are legal rights and risks clearly stated? Are users given meaningful control over their data? Can I identify who runs this website and contact them? If you don't check this first, no amount of perfect HTML or CSS or JavaScript will protect you from legal risk. I'm just saying. See you later.